What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And this morning, I saw some nonsense on Fox. Now, it's the Iowa caucus going on, and I don't know, that sounds kind of like a disease to me. You got that caucus? You ain't got that caucus, do you? Or maybe even, oh man, I woke up this morning and I threw up all kind of caucus everywhere. Sounds kind of nuts to me, but nonetheless, all of the Democrats are out there laid out, prostrate before the voters. Please come vote for me. Stand in my corner. I'm begging you. I guarantee the panderism is going on out there. I'm a bunch of panda bears. But nonetheless, in that arena of panderation is Pete Buttigieg. You know who I'm talking about. Petite Pete, little small one. So cute. A little haircut having. The one that's probably small enough to drive around in a Ken car, and Ken doll and Barbie car, feet still not touching the pedals. The one that has the small waist. Hey, don't even go in and ask for men's sizes. Can I get a 28-inch waist? No. He go in and ask for get a 2, or 4. Well, no, we don't do that in the men's departments. We, double digits. But I guess, you can go, if Prince, he was kind of petite, go over and get a 2 or 4 out of that, the kids section, go ahead. But nonetheless, Petite has the nerve to get on Fox this morning and try to make an appeal to, I guess, maybe some straggling Trump supporters that might be on the fence or was disappointed in their decision and have buyer's remorse. And let's just see how he handled it, okay? Maybe I might let him go, just let this whole thing run and not make any comments, but I don't think I could do that, though. See, because that's not my nature. If you see something, you have to say something. So let's hear how Pete Booty has the nerve to respond on Fox, and then I'll make a comment or two, just one or two. I'm going to try to be cordial and sensitive to Pete's needs, okay? Let's hear it.
In 2012, went Trump in 2016, and maybe they're looking for something new. What is your appeal to Trump voters, particularly in rural areas?
Well, it's that this is going to be a campaign that invites everybody in to be part of the solution. It's not saying we're going to agree on everything, but a time when farmers are getting killed as a result of the trade war, consumers are feeling the impacts of that.
Now, wait a minute. Maybe Petite thinks he's in front of a CNN audience or MSNBC audience where the voter IQ is just like in the negatives. They don't question statements like this because it sounds emotionally good. Yeah, people are out there hurting, even though it's not me, even though my situation has gotten better since Trump. But I'm sure there's somebody out there hurting, even though Petite Pete is not going to give us any realistic data to prove what he just said and back up that statement. He's just going to throw it out. Because on those stations and those audiences, people they hate Trump so bad, they're hoping every negative thing that comes out of this person's mouth, I'm just going to nod like, yeah, darn right, Trump's ruining it all for everybody. Instead of, Petite said, I spoke to 50 farmers out there who said this sucks. Or I did a poll recently and it says that consumers are out there hurting because of the trades war with China and the farmers and produce rates have skyrocketed. Something like that. But instead, Pete Booty just throws it out there in the wind and tries to just keep it moving. But he forgot he's not on MSNBC or CNN. Usually Fox commentators got a little more noodles. So they're going to follow up with some questions and let's see how Petite handles it, okay? Because see, last I checked, the president just formed a U.S. MCA deal, which is going to benefit the farmers. He made sure they got all their subsidies during the time that we were in the trade war with China. And most of the farmers I saw on TV was saying, darn right, somebody had to do it. I'm glad he did it. He's doing it, and it's for the long term, and I support the president. And in the last I also checked, consumer confidence is skyrocketed. People aren't running around saying, I can't buy my bologna and my puffer rice and all of my produce is just skyrocketing. I don't think a lot of people are feeling the sting of the trade war with China like Pete just threw out there. But let's continue.
Are farmers being killed by the trade war when the president just signed USMCA into law, and basically that's going to mean jobs.
So you mean to tell me this man got the nerve to question what Pete just said? Now let's just go ahead and see how Pete handles this, because he's not used to this. He's not used to this. He's like, what have I gotten myself into? I stepped on a real set where somebody is going to say, you know what? I'm not going to let you feed our audience that dookie and tell them that it's chocolate. My audience knows dookie when they see it, okay? That right there is do. So let's see how he responds to this question.
Let's see. It's certainly helpful, the USMCA, especially after the Democrats insisted on some improvements.
Oh, here you go. So how about this? Let's flip it and take credit. I'm sure in his little side rooms and all of their, back door, and they're coaching them up. Now, if you get asked this, you got to say this, your think tanks. So the response then is to somehow pivot, acknowledge that, yeah, it's okay, but it was horrible until we came along and put our stamp of approval on it and made it just that much better. Now, we all know that if it was up to the Democrats, we would have never had the trade war. We would have never even formed the USMCA agreement at all. This wonderful agreement that they said couldn't be done by nobody. Trump's going to ruin it. What is he doing? Getting us out of NAFTA. That's the worst decision ever. So it worked. Democrats came in, threw a couple garbage suggestions in just to make it appear to be bipartisan. And yet trying to take credit for it, like, oh, we just made it a little bit better. That's like me making a full-blown Bugatti car, does 300 miles per hour, and some guy comes in at the last second and say, all right, let's put an ornament right on the hood. Okay, I just made it 10 times better than it was, because the way it was, nobody was going to buy that Bugatti until I put my ornament right there on that hood. Look at that. But let's listen to what he says right after this.
So I think it's a good package, but the trade war never should have happened in the first place.
See, there we go. And he wants to be president. Petit wants to be president. He would let them continue to run all over Americans. So all of these wonderful deals that Trump has made, farmers are going to be like, man, this is great. We need more equipment. We can't even take care of all of the supply and demand that's hitting us. Petit is talking about that should have never happened. He's not playing the long game. He don't want to ruffle the feathers. Petit wants to go back to the status quo. So he just throws this statement out there with no data. Nothing negative have come from the trade war and renegotiating NAFTA with Mexico and Canada. Only positive things have come about. But this man says it should have never happened. Y'all hear that? Now, you can get away with that if you're talking to low IQ voters. But I would be the guy that says, excuse me, what negative things came out of this trade war that you're talking about? It should have never happened, because from where I'm standing, everything that happened turned out to be a good thing for America. Petit. Let's continue just a little more.
Anyway, my point is, when you see tax policies favoring corporations over the middle class, when you see refinery waivers.
Even though the middle class is growing at a higher rate economically than the upper class, yeah, okay, let's continue.
At the expense of farmers here in the Midwest, there is an opportunity to talk to voters who maybe haven't really...
Talk to voters who have no voter IQ. Talk to voters who have been polluted and manipulated so badly by the liberal media and the Democrats that they can't see a good thing if it's right in front of their face. That they would overlook the benefits that's coming out of this administration and buy into the heartfelt, emotional arguments that the Democrats are appealing to. Yeah, that's what the voters, those are the voters he's talking to right now. Let's
connected with the Democratic message in a long time. But it's not just about what we're against. It's about what we're for. The idea of making sure that we're dealing with climate change, that we're delivering an economy where one job can be enough.
Now, here we go. What we're for. Climate change, dealing with climate change. Okay, so you mean to tell me, I saw somebody write this and I said, that is true. That is true. So we got the coronavirus right now, and China don't know what to do with it. People panicking, scared, and we can't stop this thing from spreading. But yet, Petit is saying, if we focus on climate change and y'all start giving control to the government and pouring all your money and resources into climate change, we can solve that major problem. But we can't secure the border. We can't deal with the homelessness in California. We can't stop the violence and stuff that's going on in these inner cities that's ran by Democrats. We can't deal with all of that. We can't even stop the coronavirus from spreading all over the place. But we're going to fix climate change. That's one of the most important things. And then he goes on to say that, what else that Americans
economy where one job can be
one
enough,
job.
that we're supporting rural communities.
So now, a lot of people right now got jobs. Matter of fact, it is right. The employment is at the highest it's ever been in the history of the United States. But Petit here is saying where people only have to have one job. Now, is he giving us any stats? Is he saying the people that work more than one job, why are they doing that? Do they just want some extra cheese? Are they trying to pay off a car, a house? Is this by choice? Or is this, man, I'm starving and I don't have a job? What's their education? What's their skill set? There's a lot of factors. So Pete is trying to make it seem like if you vote me in, I'm going to wave a magic wand and put everybody on a plane or a level playing field where all of us will be able to just work one job. That means that everybody should be making a whole heap of money to where they say, well, I'm cool. I can only work one job. I'm sorry, Pete. There's nothing going to fix that. People have different scenarios and situations based on different factors. But this man is going to throw that out there. But that's not even the worst part about this interview. Let's continue.
As well as parts of our cities that have been left behind.
But you said a moment ago about bringing people together and reach out to Trump voters. And yet you were on CNN yesterday sort of doubling down on this claim you've made that Trump supporters are, at best, you say, looking the other way on racism. And then the president at the Super Bowl has an ad last night that quotes Alice Johnson, an African-American woman who got a second chance because of the president.
And see, the thing is, he was on CNN saying that because he knows they want to back that scenario too. Right? They want to back that narrative. Yeah, he is a racist. That's right, Pete. They're not going to question him on CNN. They're just going to nod and say, yeah, I said that about, the last 390 days I was on the air. Said it myself. He's a racist. Racist, Nazi, racist. They'll slide that in too. White nationalist, Nazi, racist. Ku Klux Klan member, racist. They'll slide it in every once in a while, you know what I'm saying, and switch it up. And keep you on your toes. They don't want to just hit you with the racist all the time. Every once in a while, they got to switch it up, throw in a little bit of Nazi, white nationalist, you know what I'm saying, Klan member, and get right back to racist. So now, he says that all the Trump supporters who voted for him supports racism.
Let's play that clip and you can react.
Yeah, let's hear that.
I'm free to start over.
Okay. Black woman?
This
What
is
the
the
heck?
greatest day of my life.
Why is she on here? You mean
But
tell me Trump freed this black woman?
I want to thank President Donald John Trump.
Listen to her. Got the nerve to speak Trump's name. We don't like black people speaking Trump's name. Can't even believe it. Let her go. Just sent her on out there just like that. I said, oh man, Trump, you're not the racist we thought you was. We put you in the White House to get rid of all them blacks. And this man gonna release one of them? The nerve of him. Make me get the willies thinking about it. Let's continue.
How can you attack not just the president, but 63 million people in America who voted for him when you have African-American women like Alice Johnson saying, this is a president who gave me a second chance?
You know, I think that President Trump's decision to sign the First Step Act when it came to his desk is one of the handful of things I could actually agree with him on. It doesn't change the incredibly cruel and divisive racial rhetoric that comes out of this White House that is one.
So let me get this straight. So President Trump is supposed to be a full-blown, full-time racist, because I always say you can't be no part-time racist, okay? So when it comes down to prison reform, that I guess a full-blown racist would probably look at as, if I gotta tolerate black people, the ones I would definitely not want to deal with is the ones that's in prison. Least I could use the excuse of keep them locked up. That eliminates a whole bunch of blacks that I don't want to deal with. So I'd rather deal with the ones that are civilized and hasn't done anything that can break the law or anything. I'd rather deal with them than the ones in prison. You would think a full-blown racist would say that's the last thing on my agenda. Okay? I want to keep those blacks locked up. But Trump makes that a priority. Huh. So you telling me he's a full-blown racist? Let's hear Pete's excuses of why, he feels that the rhetoric coming out of the White House is racist.
One of the many reasons that I'm meeting not only Democrats, but Republicans who tell me that they struggle to look their children in the eye and explain to them how this is the present.
But are you the right messenger to question the president on race when, as mayor of South Bend, as you know, black leaders were quite critical of what you did, particularly in terms of police-involved shootings and other matters you've litigated in this campaign. Why are you questioning them?
Yes, Pete.
Well, because the president is wrong. He is wrong to attack.
Oh, because the president is wrong, but I'm not, not me. I'm not even going to address what you just said about what I did back in my joint. No, I'm not going to address the video where the black lady was cussing me out and said, you'll never get our votes. I'm not going to address how I got the lowest percentage of black support right now. But yet I'm supposed to be the champion against racism. And I got the nerve to criticize Trump about racism and his rhetoric. So let's hear all of the list. Here's the list. We already know the list is coming of everything that they say Trump did that makes him a full-blown racist. Let's hear this.
Attack women of color. He is wrong to.
Here we go. He's wrong to attack women of color. Okay. Did he attack them based on their color, Pete? See, these are questions that the low IQ viewer, right over the head. See, Pete just throws it out there. You're wrong to attack women of color. You're wrong to attack women of color because they are just of color, or you shouldn't attack women of color because they said something stupid, did something stupid. He just blanketly throws it out there like you're not allowed to attack women of color. How about you judge people for what they say and do? And then when they get criticized, the criticism is based off of their decision making. But no, not the Democrats. Their playbook is this. If we can look at someone that is criticized and see some type of way to capitalize on division and identity politics, oh, we gonna do it. We gonna do it. So just when he said something about black women or about their decisions, their attitude, their policies, no, forget all of that. Focus on the fact that these are black, number one. Number two, women. Okay, so that's what it is. Let's continue.
Compare people to animals. He is wrong to.
Okay, here we go.
Entire cities.
So now all of a sudden, compare people to animals. Did he say who that President Trump was talking about? Was he talking about just regular law-abiding citizens? Or was he talking about heinous, nasty, disgusting murderers who cut people's heads off and burn them and rape girls and do those things? Maybe if Petite Pete would get down in the muck and the mire, go in there, bust through some doors, grab some MS-13 people and drag them out, or see some of the victims, or maybe even go and talk to some of the parents of some of those victims. Maybe he might have a different view about these gentle woodland creatures, MS-13, these kind, illegal immigrants that just don't, undocumented citizens that just want to come here for a better life. And while they're here, maybe along their journey to a better life, hack up a couple people, chop a head or two off. It does, that's all. I mean, why you judging them? Why you judging them? How you gonna put them in the category of an animal? The nerve of you racist.
To compare people to animals. He is wrong to assault entire cities in his tweets. And again.
Okay, so no, wait a minute. Did he insult the whole city? I don't think so. I think he insulted the person running the whole city. That's what I think. I think the people in the city shook their head like, darn right, this place is roach and rat infested and drug infested. We need help down here. And Elisha Cummings ain't doing it. But instead of focusing on the person who is judging Trump, who's criticizing Trump, who's going after him for impeachment, instead of looking at their own mess like Nancy Pelosi, like Schiff, like all of these people whose districts are garbage. And yet they up on Capitol Hill trying to impeach the president. This man wants to redirect the whole statement or tweet and make it focus on the city, as if Trump just blatantly looked at Virginia or Baltimore and was just like, I hate that city. Or San Francisco, I hate that city. He was talking about the people running the city. But Pete, he usually don't have to respond to these things. He just throws it out there because, like I said, it's called disinformation, misinformation. It's called pivoting. It's called gaslighting. I mean, there's a whole bunch of terms you can use for the tactics of these Democrats. But let's continue.
You don't have to be a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat to know that's wrong, just as a lot of Republicans in Congress and Senate, even if they're providing cover for the president, can't actually bring themselves to say that he's a good leader. And it's
now, I'm going to finish with that. He said, you don't have to be a diehard Democrat to know that that's wrong. You don't have to be a diehard Democrat to know that this man just sat there and lied. He misled everyone, or at least tried to mislead everyone that was just listening to him. See, and I just had to bring that out. I couldn't let Pete go through and throw these statements out there without checking him. You know, I tried. I tried to sit back and act like I didn't hear it, didn't see nothing. I tried to play the role of an extreme liberal or just a person that just casually watches the news here or there. I tried to do that, but I couldn't. My reasoning skills, my logic, it just was like, Kev, if you do this, this is going against everything we stand for. And I do not want to look bad in front of our audience, okay? I don't care, man. You're going to say something about this. So I saw something and had to say something. So Petite Pete here is saying, you ain't got to be all of this and that to agree with what he just said. Well, what you have to do is be a person with a low viewer IQ. A low IQ of the manipulation tactics that the Democrats use, you have to be a victim of. You have to be susceptible to it. People get brainwashed if they're susceptible to being brainwashed. But once you understand the technique and the tactics and the expectation that the person trying to brainwash you have, then you can combat it. And I know the tactics and the efforts that this man is doing to try to get his audience to go, yup, which is lying, which is deceitful. And I had to call it out. So anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner and then had the nerve to try to end with, and some of the Republicans know he's not a great leader. I don't know what you're talking about. That's new to me. We ain't talking about just no Mitt Romney and all of them. You know what? But we are talking about the people, okay? Forget the rhinos. Shoot, his approval rating is up in the 90s when it comes down to conservative voters. So what is Petite talking about? Nothing. That's what he's talking about. He's speaking nothing but gibberish. I'm sorry. It took me 21 plus minutes to have to unravel Pete because the Fox commentator didn't have the time to really dissect him like that. So I said, don't worry about it. No worry. I know y'all listening to him and saying, this guy's talking garbage, but we're looking at time here. And I said, so don't worry. I'll get it. I'll take care of it later on for you guys. All right. So anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Your notifications are set for all because YouTube's playing games. All right. Stay tuned for a new platform that I'm hopefully going to be a part of that will allow me to say what I want to say. I'm going to need y'all support, though. Don't forget, check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like something, put Kevin in a promo code. You get a 20% discount. And if you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's a link in the bottom of the video to do that as well. And find me on Facebook and the Twitter. And we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. God bless.